to order. Commissioner Thomas is going to say the prayer, and Kevin, you lead in the pledge of allegiance.
Thank you. Heavenly Father, we thank you for being God Almighty. We thank you for being the creator, the architect of everything. We just give you all the thanks and the glory. Father, we ask that you be in this meeting, that everything we do be pleasing in your sight, decent and in order. Father, we ask you to bless those that are here and those that are watching or listening. We ask you to continue to bless our county as we try to do the best we can for our citizens. Father, we also ask you to bless those who are fighting in harm's way, that we can very well exercise this right. We thank you for all the blessings you've bestowed upon us. Continue to watch over and look over us. We pray in your Son, Jesus Christ's name. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
First item is adoption of the agenda. I have a few changes here. On item 6, presentation of announcements. I would like to recognize the new DFACS director, Sandy Jordan. Sandy, would you stand? And what song were you going to sing? Thank you, Sandy. Good to have you. Under citizens' concerns, Sandra Samples is not here tonight. So we mark through that. On new business, I'd like to add consider approve MOU agreement for Georgia Forestry Commission. And Amanda, can I go ahead and table the B and C, or?
You can go ahead and remove them, and then we can put them back on.
Okay.
Excuse me,
No,
next month.
Let's remove B and C for now. The director, acting interim director, Don Wilson, is not available tonight. So we'll put that on the agenda for next month. Is there any other changes, that amendments or anything? No?
You said A and B. Are we talking about Bravo, Charlie?
B and C.
B and
B and C.
Gotcha.
I make a motion, we adopt the agenda with the corrections and changes.
Have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second that motion, Mr.
I have a
Chairman.
motion and a second. You call the roll.
Commissioner Gordon,
Yes.
Commissioner McCreary,
Yes.
Commissioner Hopkins,
Yes.
Commissioner Thomas,
Yes.
Commissioner Hickox.
Yes.
Skipping over citizen concerns, public hearings, there is none. Old business, there is none. Did I miss something? I'm sorry, approval of the minutes on a regular meeting, June the 3rd. It's in our book. I assume everybody's read that. Do I have a motion to approve the minutes?
So-
Make a
Go ahead.
motion to approve the minutes.
Have a motion to
Second, Mr. Chairman.
Have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Madam Clerk.
Commissioner McCreary,
Yes.
Commissioner Hopkins,
Yes.
Commissioner Thomas,
Yes.
Commissioner Hickox,
Yes.
Commissioner Gordon.
Yes. New business, Recreation Director, Mr. Speck Eccles. Consider approved bid for sod. Seemed like we saw you last month.
Bless you, Sheriff.
How y'all doing again?
You need
All
them?
right, ma'am.
You need them?
No, ma'am. I think Paul, we had talked this morning, I think Paul got
Okay.
it figured out over there. But this is a a couple months ago, we moved this fence in to a 220. This is where we're gonna put our pickleball courts at. So what we're requesting now is to move the sod in, to close this clay in and make it
a feasible field like the rest of our fields. The infield's so wide right now, like I said, I think this little line here is actually 220. And we're just gonna sod this in and close the actual infield in, and be a little closer to the bases. A little angle like that, and all this will be sod. And then, like I said, we're gonna pick up ball courts and put our sod right there to close in our gap in that big clay area right there. That's a big area right there. So,
What age is that gonna,
it's gonna be a 220. It can do everything that we host out there. And right now, we're getting it ready for middle school softball. Instead of putting them at Ben Park, we're gonna put them right there. We're gonna try to do some maintenance work on Ben Park. We need to raise some sprinklers. We need to do a little work on that right now. So we're gonna put them on that field right there, and it'll be ready to go for them.
so will that field work for middle school, baseball in the
Well,
spring?
yes, it will this year because they're gonna have a sixth grade team. So the littler fellas can play on that 220, and the bigger fellas will play at the other end. So it accommodate softball, baseball, whatever we got. So, like I said, it was useless, a big old field like that. You know, the middle school didn't want to play, it was too big. So we moved it in and it gave us enough area to put our pickleball courts. And, like I said, the main concern is to move that, get that infield a little smaller. So,
Spec has two quotes for us in our books, and I think you're recommending Granny's Creek.
yes, sir.
The bid is $22,750. The next bid looks like was $30,950.
35,000.
I have a motion to accept or approve the sod.
You have a motion, Mr. Chairman.
Have a motion, is there a second?
I'll second it.
Any other discussion?
Looking at this, partial, this 9,000 is for doing a laser grade too, so it's not just putting sod down.
Yeah, they're gonna have to come in, Commissioner, and, they're gonna have to take a lot of this clay out.
Yeah.
And they're gonna have to re-put some, some topsoil, and then they're gonna probably cut the slip here again, where it all match up, so it's gonna be laser graded, it's gonna be playable when I get through with it, so.
No, that's good, because 22,000 sod was a little bit high in my
Yes.
opinion. But now that I read and see what it
What they
actually,
all gonna
there's a
do,
lot
yes.
more going on, so
Right,
I
right.
appreciate that, thank you.
Yes, sir.
We're gonna be able to use that clay somewhere else?
We
Because
can.
I know we have to bring it.
We're gonna put it in our stockpile and, fill it in for holes or whatever we need to do, because like I said, that's good clay. I don't wanna, we're not gonna haul that off, they can haul off the rest of it, but we're gonna keep that top clay, so.
And this is gonna be expensed out of SPOSS.
Yep.
Any other discussion? Madam Clerk?
Commissioner Hopkins?
Yes.
Commissioner Thomas?
Yes.
Commissioner Hickox?
Yes.
Commissioner Gordon?
Yes.
Commissioner McCrary?
Yes.
Thank you, Pat.
Can I still have the floor to give them an update on our all-stars? You gonna do that at the end?
That's up to the chairman.
Mr. Chairman, I was gonna give y'all an update on our all-stars and our
Oh, yeah.
championships, or you may wait at the end, or you may go ahead now.
No, go ahead.
All right, we'll go back to district. We had 11 teams competing in district play. We hosted the girls tournament here, and we hosted the boys, was in Waycross. We had 8 district champions. So we spread it over over there in Waycross, took all the boys over there. So then we headed to state. We ended up with 2 state champions, 3 runner-ups out of 8 teams. So that's not bad. We'll take it. We should have won a little more. But this week we got swim meet. We got 43 swimmers going to state Friday and Saturday over in Moultrie. And we got district golf and tennis this week also. So we'll see how many we can get to qualify for state for that. So we're doing pretty good. So, but like I said, it was a good summer. I want to thank Donnie Ray for the little parade they had. I want to thank Mayor Hickox for the sign they put up at the marquee for them. So it was nice. So kids worked hard and they deserve it. So we're gonna they're gonna go to the old folks home to run everybody across from the
At home?
yep. you know, they all wished them good luck, so we're gonna take the kids by there, let them see them, so. But it was nice, so.
Can I ask a question?
Yes, ma'am.
The swimmers, you said you have how many swimmers going to state?
43
Where do they practice?
in somebody's backyard.
So, how long does it take for 40, because what pool holds 43 swimmers? How do,
They do it in sessions. They do it, I think, by age group. It's, Mr. Dave Oliver does a good job with them. He's our coach, and he figures it out somehow. He gets them in and gets them out, but I don't believe it's like a 3-lane pool they swim in. But, yeah, he does miracles with them, I believe. That's a lot of swimmers.
to go to state?
Yes, disqualified for state. So, you know, we'll win some state titles in that stuff, but that's a lot of swimming. Like I said, I think we got 10 golfers or 10 tennis players in the morning, and I think 12 golfers Thursday, so they got a chance to go to state also, so.
So you would say that Wayne County produces some athletes when it comes to our children?
I think we do. I think we run the district right now. We top dog. They chase us, so.
If I could add, Commissioner, as a reminder, and I know we've said this before, but in the last 5 years, Wayne County has led our district out of how many counties?
31.
31 counties. We've led in championships out of our district, and I think state as well, right?
Yeah.
For our district.
So we just added 8 district more titles and
Yeah.
2 more state championships to our little ring of honor, so.
And the rec director of the year, I believe, was slid right in there somewhere, right?
I don't think I got read of the year, but we did get agency of the year.
Yeah, agency of the year.
That
Yeah.
was a big feather in your hat, so, but we doing good. But, you know, we
Absolutely.
can't do it without the support of y'all, so,
Yeah.
thank y'all.
Yeah,
That's it.
good deal.
Thank you,
y'all.
Spec.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Next item is, Engineer Brandon Purcell, consider approve waiver to accept bond for Dairyland Acres, mobile home subdivision.
So this is, presented on it last month, we voted to, move forward. Basically what the, developers wanted to do on this, there's 2 phases. The existing phase, which has got roughly 25 existing mobile homes on it that it has been for lease or rent for the past, I don't know how many years. But what the developers want to do, we've got to subdivide it. He wants to go ahead and start selling those lots, as he's developing the other side. So when he comes in, he wants to pave it all at once. So what he'd like to do on the first phase is to put up a bond amount in the amount of the paving. And we got, a local, Georgia Asphalt Producers, they come up with a, proposal for him to pave that section. He's gonna put up the bond for us, so he can go in and start selling some of those lots, so they're not just sitting empty on him, until he gets the other side done. That's what we would like to do on this one. Now, this is, I think the bond's for $225,000, which will cover the paving if it comes back on this. We're gonna put a year time frame on it, where if it's not done in a year time frame, the money comes to Wayne County, and we can get, this, hopefully the prices don't increase in between them, but, the original quote he got was for like $203,000, so we added $22,000 on top of it, so if there's any increase in price between now and then, that we would be covered in it.
My biggest concern on this, Brandon, and
Yes, sir.
is who's gonna monitor this.
As far as,
It will, to make sure that all this is done before the bond runs out.
I can put that on me, as far as engineering wise, because like all the other subdivisions, I'm gonna be there when we do the proof rolls on it. So whenever anything happens, as far as the base layer or the rock layer, I'm gonna be out there walking with them, making sure that it passes the proof roll. So I'll monitor as far as that for this project particularly.
So this is just a variance for the first phase?
For just the first phase. The second phase, he will have to go like everything else. And the main reason is because to keep from doing, get the houses to be rented. Because right now, he's basically alerted the renters, hey, these are gonna be for sale lots, not for rent anymore. So he's wanting to go ahead and get them on the market. Would like to go ahead and pave it all at once. There's roughly 0.7 miles of road out there. So this first phase, it has 0.3 or 0.32 miles of road in it, and then the other half will be the other 0.3. So it's just one of those things. It's not something we're trying to set precedent for on any subdivisions. This is just a particular case where there's already 25 existing homes out there. And like I said, they were all rental, nothing was subdivided. So we went and subdivided it out. And in lieu of him paving it right now, instead of just doing it all at once, because the plan is, if I'm not mistaken, to come in there and do it all at once. So he's gonna be actively getting the other half ready to be developed.
Yeah. I'm impressed with that we're doing the stages. Well, it means it's gotta pass our engineering approval,
Yes,
so we don't run into issues like we've had in the past, so thank y'all for
Absolutely.
implementing that. I think that's a big plus.
yes, sir. I wanna do that on every one of these subdivisions coming, just so we don't have, like I said, issues we've been having in the past.
Yep.
Does Mr. Hand have a time frame in mind for starting of paving?
Yeah, really, we're doing a well there as well, so we have to run some water lines, so as soon as that's done, really,
Yeah.
we can go ahead and do the paving on the first side.
So are we looking at the bond runs out the same time completion is to be complete, the paving is to be completed, or is there a little bit of leeway there, or?
The plan is to have the, like Mr. Hand said just then, if they can go ahead and get in there and get the water main ran for the new well system, because it's a new water system, EPD approved well system, if they can go ahead and get the paving done, it should be well ahead of the year's time frame. We just know things happen, so a time frame gives them a little bit of buffer if something was to go wrong, or
Weather?
Georgia Asphalt Producers, if they get delayed, and I know if anybody out here has ever done any paving, sometimes that gets pushed. But that is the plan, as soon as it gets it prepped, bring them in.
So has our attorney looked at this bond and agreement and the stipulations associated with
I
it?
don't think we've gotten the bond quite yet, unless we just got it today, but we've been talking about the bond and the semantics with the bond, so
Okay,
we're good with the bond.
we're good with it.
You said you did put a time limit on, like
A year time frame.
liquidation damage clause?
Your bonds typically have a 12-month time frame on with
Okay.
a purchase like that, so that would come from the insurance company.
And we were gonna present it before he actually gets the bond, that way,
Right,
so he doesn't.
okay.
Do you anticipate finishing this paving on the first phase, before that bond runs out?
Oh, yes, sir. I think we'll probably have it done by the end of the year. The biggest thing is, with the well being done, we have to run those new water lines, and we have to do a little bit of prep work on the other side, dirt work. We have to fill in the ditch and a couple of little things for drainage that we have to do, but as soon as that's done, we'll be ready to go ahead and do the paving. So I don't think it's gonna take anywhere near a year. That was something that we came up with just in case we get pushed back, the contractors get delayed, or whatever happens. That it's a really safe time frame, so.
And we're talking less than a mile of road here, so it shouldn't take them long when they get a paving company over there to get it actually done.
Do I have a motion to consider approve the,
Mr. Chairman, I have a motion that you approve.
a second?
I second.
We have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? Madam Clerk?
Commissioner Thomas,
Yes.
Commissioner Hickox,
Yes.
Commissioner Gordon,
Yes.
Commissioner McCrary,
Yes.
Commissioner Hopkins.
Yes.
E, consider approve agreement between Wayne County Transit and Ware County Board of Health Wellness Program. This is a renewal. I think it comes up, what, every
Every year.
Every year? Okay. So I'm looking for a motion to consider approve.
So move, Mr. Chairman.
Have a motion and have a second.
I'll second it.
Have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Madam Clerk?
Commissioner Hickox,
Yes.
Commissioner Gordon,
Yes.
Commissioner McCrary,
Yes.
Commissioner Hopkins,
Yes.
Commissioner Thomas.
Yes. Mr. Chairman, I'd like to point out while we're on the subject that our transit, Wayne Transit, is still leading the region in the amount of trips and the people we serve. So, we make more trips than anybody else. And, I think as soon as we get a full staff, we'll be able to make more. But
Yeah, they're not working at full capacity,
right,
are
we're
they?
not.
Huh.
And I commend our county administrator for working on that. He knows what's going on with it, and he's got it under control.
Well, if I can say, and I think I said this to y'all in an email, but I want to let the public know as well that thanks goes to y'all. Because the other day when I was out at Transit and talking to Miss Carolyn, she said the pay raise has helped immensely with the number of applications that are coming in. So I think they've already hired one or either two, and they've got a couple of more applications that they're looking at. So,
Good.
so that was definitely a huge benefit from y'all.
I have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? Madam Clerk?
I've already called the roll, yeah, on that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm behind. Consider approved bid for partial J12-99. Mr. Drawley. You have-
Actually, Mr. Beaver has
Mr.
the
Beaver has
information.
that?
Yeah.
Okay, Mr. Beaver.
So the minimum bid on this one was $6,000, and Ms. Lamb provided us with the bids on this one. There was one bid that we received, I believe it was from, I don't want to mispronounce his name, but Tyrone McGill Jr., and it was for $6,100. So that met the minimum bid threshold there, so if we could make a motion to approve that bid, and then I believe there's one more property on the agenda that we can address at the appropriate time.
Okay. So we have a bid for $6,100. The minimum was $6,000. Do I have a motion to accept the bid on partial J12-99?
Yes, sir.
Do you have a second?
I'll second it.
Have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Madam Clerk?
Commissioner Gordon,
Yes.
Commissioner McCrary,
Yes.
Commissioner Hopkins,
Yes.
Commissioner Thomas,
Yes.
Commissioner Hickox.
Yes.
On G, consider approved lowering the minimum bid on partial J14-6. That was one of the partials that was in the original first 5, I believe it was.
Thanks, and this one's run twice, I believe. We've kept it the same the last time. The bid that y'all had on that was $7,000, and we've received no bids. Speaking of Ms. Lamb, she, what her recommendation was to lower it down to $5,000. If y'all were in agreement with that, and then run it again.
Open the floor for a motion for bid of $5,000, minimum bid of $5,000.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
Have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
Yes, can you tell us, or tell everybody where these are located at, so if they're looking for property, they can find it?
This was on Walker Street.
Are you talking about physical location or where they can call and get details?
Yeah, where they can get details and,
So the broker that y'all had agreed to go with was Parker Realty. I can give you their phone number real quick. So Parker Realty's phone number is 912-427-9345. They're located right over there. Their specific address is 265 South Macon Street, but right on Macon Street there. And Kelly Lamb's the realtor that's really been handling, or the real estate agent that's really been handling the listings for the county since y'all voted to go with them as the brokerage there. So they can call up there to that office or ask to speak to her, and she can provide them with information on the ones that are coming up, because I think we'll have, if I'm not mistaken, I think we'll have 3 more coming up that y'all voted for the last time. She'd been trying to give them some exposure before we actually started the bidding process there. So I think the other 3 we'll have hopefully some bids in there for y'all to approve the next time on those properties.
And is there an address on that Walker Street property?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I didn't
Is
hear
there
you.
an address on that Walker Street property?
Probably
Yeah, it's
not.
5 North Wayne.
Yeah, it's in your book there.
395 North Wayne,
I got you, okay.
and it's .55 acres.
It's just drawn up.
All right. Okay, I know what it is. I grew up at 361 Walker.
Any other discussion? Madam Clerk?
Commissioner McCrary,
Yes.
Commissioner Hopkins,
Yes.
Commissioner Thomas,
Yes.
Commissioner Hickox,
Yes.
Commissioner Gordon.
Yes. Letter H, consider approve Georgia Indigent Defense Services Agreement. Mr. Drawdy, you got anything on that?
It's the annual contract that we do with the Public Defender's Office, and you can see, the clerk has put something in y'all's book in reference to, there was basically from last year, a $5,000 increase. Most of that was personnel, and there was a little bit of a decrease in the operating side. So,
So it's just a renewal contract.
yes, sir, I think it's a total of like $247,000 is what the annual contract is for
Is
Public
that-
Defender's Office.
Is
It's for,
that including the $5,443?
yes, yes, it
Okay.
is, it is.
I'll make a motion to approve the Indigent Defense Services Agreement. Need a second?
I'll second that.
Have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Madam Clerk?
Excuse me, Commissioner Hopkins,
Yes.
Commissioner Thomas,
Yes.
Commissioner Hickox,
Yes.
Commissioner Gordon,
Yes.
Commissioner McCrary.
Yes.
What was that total on? 247, 343.
On I, consider approve MOU agreement for the Georgia Forestry Commission. Mr. Drawdy?
This is another, and actually, this isn't an annual contract, it's every 5 years, basically, and it covers the agreement that the county has with the Georgia Forestry or Rural Fire Department. Basically, they lease/loan their, like, if you're familiar with what a knocker is, our brush trucks or whatever, the tanks on the back of those, and then also our big, huge tankers, that those are basically a lease loan from the Georgia Forestry Commission or the Rural Fire Department. We keep an agreement with them, so, you know, in the past, when we didn't have an issue with volunteers, you know, if they were out on a fire and they needed assistance, they could call for volunteers to grab a brush truck and go help them. Now, what they typically do is they'll just run by the department themselves, pick up that knocker, and they'll take it if they need it. Usually they don't, they've got enough equipment they can handle it, but it's just a good way for us to assist them and they assist us.
Open the floor for a motion to consider approve the agreement, MOU agreement.
So moved.
I have a second. Have a motion, second. Any discussion? Madam Clerk?
Commissioner Thomas,
Yes.
Commissioner Hickox,
Yes.
Commissioner Gordon,
Yes.
Commissioner McCrary,
Yes.
Commissioner Hopkins.
Yes.
Items of County Administrator.
Commissioners, we have been through the interview process for EMS Director. We had opened it back up here a while back, and we did another round of interviews. And myself and the clerk have been in negotiations with the gentleman that the panel believes is definitely the person that we want to hire. I come to y'all in May and asked for a higher salary range, and that appears that it was a little too low, and that's a bad on me. This gentleman comes from a real good agency, and he is well worth every penny that I would like to offer him. And I would like to offer him a grade 23, step 26, and that's $91,718.10. That is lower than what we're budgeted for because we were paying the former EMS director at a grade 23, 27. So we are budgeted for that for the rest of the year, but obviously I need y'all's permission to be able to formally offer that to this applicant.
Would this applicant have the same experience level as our retired?
More so, yes, yes.
Open the floor for a motion to accept, what was the grade, Paul?
Grade 23, step 26.
grade 23, step 26.
Yes, sir.
I make that motion to accept or to increase.
Do I have a second?
Yes.
I'll second that. Any other discussion? Madam Clerk?
Commissioner Hickox?
Yes.
Commissioner Gordon?
Yes.
Commissioner McCreary?
Yes.
Commissioner Hopkins?
Yes.
Commissioner Thomas?
Yes.
Item for the county clerk.
Were you done, Paul?
Yes, I am. through.
Okay.
That's, we don't get no more time.
Okay, in your book, the May 2024 budget report compared to May 2023, without the ARP, revenues for 2024 was $1,780,777.38. 23 revenues, $1,135,398.26. Revenues are up from 23 by 56.84%. Expenditures without ARP, 2024, $3,016,250.61, and 23, $2,257,551.64. Expenditures are up from 2023 by 33.61%. And part of that is the airport improvement grant. Payment to the library we made in May of 24. And then the difference from the health insurance from 2023. So if you put all that together and the difference in the ARP, we are actually 2.67% down from 2023 expenditures. And then the fund balance as of June 30th, 2024, general fund, $3,602,837.22. Lost treasury account, $10,666,602.85. Restricted accounts, SPLOS, $7,953,879.38. T-SPLOS, $5,988,550.63. American Rescue Plan, $2,902,604.08. And revolving loan fund, $310,532.23.
Are we gonna, ask a question? Sure. Are we gonna have an update on the allocated funds out of these in the next meeting or two? Where they have been specified they're gonna be spent?
On the committed side,
Yes.
yes.
Okay.
Now, I did email y'all the SPLOS 4 spreadsheet, this afternoon. You've
Okay.
you had it in your area, but I did email the SPLOS 4 to you.
Okay.
And it does have the committed funds in it, but we can do, and we probably need to, because I think
We're gonna have a work session on that.
we are. I was just gonna say
On
something,
what?
but I'm not sure on the budget in reference to August as we get through or get ready to go through the budget season. We're gonna be having some work sessions. One of the things that I was gonna mention is in reference to, and I paused only because I can't remember if I talked to the county attorney about this or not. So, about, the definition for obligation in reference to the interdepartmental contracts. Yeah. So there was some concern, and when Amanda and I, the county clerk and I met with the auditors last week, I believe it was, they had previously sent out an email to us that the state had changed the definition for obligation under ARP money. As we've often said in these meetings, you know, we've got to have it obligated by the end of this year and then spent by the end of '26. And I say a change, maybe it was just more of a clarification. Either way, it was different than what we were thinking, from the standpoint that you had to have an actual contract with someone that you're fixing to spend that money, which kind of put us in a little tailspin in our office simply because, you know, we had planned on projects in '25 and in '26, and that money wouldn't be expended then. So what has happened is, when we met with the auditors, they come back with the actual definition from the law. The county attorney looked at it, and he agreed with the auditors because they wanted to make sure it passed his smell test first. And so what we can do is we can have an interdepartment contract. So, and I'll just use rec department for an example. If we, if we were gonna do, if, let's say we wanted to expend some ARP money in the rec department and we knew we weren't gonna expend it or be able to start on a project in 2025, what we would then have to do is the county attorney would have to draw up an interdepartmental contract between the recreation director and myself, and then y'all sign off on it stating that, yes, this amount of money is gonna be spent on this particular project in this year. So it gives us a little bit more relief when it comes to ARP money and not having to be rushed for it, so.
The deadline for this is December 15th.
Yes, sir, it is, yeah, yeah. And so part of that, probably when we get into our budget work sessions, we'll be discussing all of that and get y'all's feedback and to ensure that this is where y'all want to spend the money. And then from there, we can move forward with the county attorney setting up those contracts that we need, the ones that we do need to set up.
So I was just looking at the SPOS funds, and so SPOS 4 ended June 30th, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
So we have uncommitted funds, leftover funds from SPOS 4 of north of $4 million. What is the plan for that $4 million?
To continue to spend it as, no, I'm not being smart. I mean, that's exactly what it is. Right now, we have capital expenditures in mind, but obviously we have to come to y'all first to ensure that y'all can sign off on them. One is, we got a presentation from the fire department, so we know that those fire engines and tankers are going to cost a lot of money. Some of that will still be used for obviously road and streets because we typically use SPLOST, and Mr. Elton, I'm going to say it again, you're going to have to help me. SPLOST dollars are typically used for new pavement, correct?
Typically, yes, sir.
Typically, and then T-SPLOST is for resurfacing. So in reference to new pavement, I mean, we don't know right now exactly what the cost of those are, so that money is held for them. So when, for instance, is the road department comes up and goes, okay, we've got Smith Road that needs to be paved. It's going to be new pavement, and here's how much the dollar figure is on that project. That's when they come to you, y'all okay it, and then we expend those monies.
When does the work on the community center begin? At this last 5 others.
You talking about in reference to the community center / pool? Yeah, I don't have a clue. I'm gonna guess and say, I'm hoping 2025. I mean, we haven't, the bigger issue is in reference to SPLOST 5 money. So it'll start collecting July 1, or has started collecting in July 1. The way the Department of Revenue works it is they're always a month behind on sending us the collections. So we'll receive July money in August. Now, one of the issues that we're going to do, or the board has decided to do, is the bond that we're going to sell. And so whenever that takes place, we'll have that pool of money for the pool and the courthouse annex. And so we should have, they're expecting, I think, if I remember correctly, in excess of, and don't quote me on this, either one of you, Drew, Bob, but it was either $300,000 or $600,000 in excess beyond the payment principal that we'll be making on the bond issue. Because the bond issue will be that pool of money for the pool and the courthouse annex. And then some of that can also be used for the community center. But obviously, we need to bank some money before we start breaking ground and ensure that we've got enough to start, keep paying people.
So I think words have meaning, and I don't want anything to cloud the fact that we voted on November the 6th that we would have set money aside for our rec department projects, recreation projects and equipment, including a competition swimming pool, a community center, and an equestrian center. Now, the equestrian center, that's what we voted on. That's not what ended up on the ballot, because the equestrian center did not end up on the ballot. But the community center and the swimming pool, the competition swimming pool, absolutely ended up on the ballot. And that is a huge need for Wayne County.
Yes, I agree.
Okay.
And I don't think there's any doubt about that. I think he was just asking the question, when are we gonna start on it? And Paul's explaining, we have to wait till we start getting some money in and we get the bond, which is basically a loan so that we can start on the projects without a negative.
There's a committee that's been formed for the pool, and they've done a lot of legwork on this thing. They've sent some drawings, I understand, some plans up to the University of Georgia for inspections or approvals, and same people that kind of did the Autumn Hall Leisure plans, but work is being done as we speak. It's just that we don't see it.
So I thought we had this meeting scheduled today because of the bond attorney. What happened to that process? What did we stall on there?
So the problem is Moody's, the folks that give the county a rating, Moody's investors, they have to have a finalized audit before they can issue their final rating. So the auditors, they send the audit to the state. And Mr. Harris told me, you know, the state can make a change. Usually what they see when they send that audit back, it may be wording, like they want you to use will instead of would, or you know, something along those lines. So I talked to Mr. Bill Camp today of Raymond James and got an update from him, and it's still the same. We're waiting on the state to finalize that audit so we can put, you know, the final stamp on it, and they can move forward and publish. They've got the rating ready. They're just waiting on the state to say this is a final audit, and they can publish the rating, and then at that point, they'll sell the bonds.
So will that be a called meeting?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Items for commissioners, Commissioner Thomas.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you so much. I want to commend our rec director on the good job she's doing with the rec department, and thank him also for the items he's taking care of for me and the one that's in the future on Hall Richardson and some other things in our area. Also commend our county administrator. Can you give us an update on the senior citizens building?
Yes, sir. The ladies from Action Pack are going to come in and meet with me tomorrow at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. And so basically, and I can't remember, I think I updated y'all that they come in 2 or 3 weeks ago, and we took that original 4,700 square foot footprint, and that was the one that was done by the architect and basically given to us. So what I wanted from them was, okay, that was an architect's idea. What would you do differently since y'all do this every single day? Is there changes you would make? Would you make your day room larger? Would you make it smaller? Those type items. So they gladly took that information, and they've gotten together as a group, decided what the plan was, and now they're bringing it back to me tomorrow at 2 o'clock. Once I get that, I'm hoping to reach out to Brandon Purcell to kind of give me just something a little bit more formal, you know, because I'm sure it's going to be pen drawn or whatever, if I'm guessing, and get Brandon to kind of put something out on paper that looks a little bit more professional, so we can start shopping that out to some of our metal building folks and moving forward.
Would we engage a architect on that building?
Yeah, well, that's what I'm gonna do with Brandon, is get with him and get an architect and find out what we got to do as far as drawings and everything. Yes, ma'am.
Be a true architect.
Yeah.
We'll make it look real for the architect.
Right.
Take a sketch plan and make it look.
Yeah. I don't want to show an architect my hand drawing, if that makes sense.
Oh, so we're gonna submit Brandon's to the architect?
Yes.
Okay,
yes,
great.
Yes.
That's great.
Yep. Yep.
I'm not an architect at all. Take that role.
You done?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. I want to thank the rest of the board too for helping me with the senior citizen building. We're anxious to get it started and get it finished so that it will make room for other things to revitalize that area. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Commissioner Hopkins.
Just thank the road department again. You save me all the time. I can't tell you, I've got one of the largest districts with most of the, more dirt roads than any other district. And, I get probably 2 to 3 calls a week, and y'all handle them great, and I appreciate it. I've not heard one complaint of the work that we've done, so thank you for that. I appreciate that. Mr. Kevin McReady. And your department.
You done?
Yes, sir.
Commissioner Hickox.
Do we have a drainage issue on the back of the election building?
I'm not sure, I don't think so.
Okay, well, I know we got a lot of rain today.
Yes, we
There just
did,
seemed to
yeah.
be a huge pool there. And I'm thinking if we hit election season and we have
Right.
elderly, so I don't know who can look at that, but it just looked like it never looked before.
Well, right, and you are right. I'm sure part of that is because of, I don't know how much we got today, but here in downtown Jessup, it flooded. So, yeah, yes, ma'am. We'll take a look at it though.
Over 2 inches.
So, the community center, right now, I can't even emphasize enough how important this community center is to Wayne County. Right now, we have 2 AAU teams, that are independently searching for, practice facilities that are indoors. And we're talking 4th grade and 5th grade kids, boys and girls, who have been practicing outside. It's very rough. That community center needs to have basketball courts, volleyball courts, an indoor walking track for our elderly. That indoor competition pool, I'm so impressed with 40 state qualifiers. It needs a weight room, because we need to partner with our school system and offset some of that pressure. It needs multi-purpose rooms for therapeutics, quilting, small groups, meetings, aerobics, support groups. And I would love to see a community kitchen and you can look out the window on a community garden. I believe that if you put preteen kids, little kids, in the same room with grandparents, that will change our world. Because the wisdom that comes from a voice that is not your mother's is huge. I would love to see that happen. The last meeting, you mentioned that we're gonna get a group together and go look at some community centers. I didn't get any correspondence on that, so I'm just wanting an update on when that looks like we're gonna go and look.
We just haven't done that yet. I mean, one of the issues obviously is my rec director has been extremely busy.
I'm with you.
And I don't want to go look at anything
Yep.
without him, because
I
he's the
gotcha.
one, he's built one before, and he's the one that can say, hey, look, this is good, this is bad, we need to do this.
Set up some, Commissioner, probably at the end of the month.
Perfect.
I get through these 2 weeks with swimming and all that, and we kinda have a little dead time before football season starts, so we might make some road trips in and let's go look at some of these facilities and get us a good idea of what we wanna do here.
I believe, it is my personal opinion, that Wayne County as a whole is desperately in need of an oversight board for capital projects for the county and the school system, both. Both entities have been flush with cash from what I believe to be overtaxing, and neither has a facility that's worthy of the community it serves. That is not a dig on anybody. That is a red flag. Let's be proactive and let's include people in the conversation who are from Wayne County and who do millions of dollars worth of business in construction every day. I have been going to a lot of school board meetings, and we have missed an opportunity to utilize Wayne County's resources to push forward facilities that our athletes, our citizens, our elderly are not only in need of, but deserve. They pay premium taxes, they deserve a premium service. No one expects this group to have all the answers, but everyone expects us to, as Jason Weaver would say, just do right. And what is right by our community is, let's ask for help. Let's say, let's do it together. Wayne County can do anything together. I have one other issue. Most weeks, we get a weekly wrap-up from our county administrator. It's great information. And this weekly wrap-up said that he had got a request from the Press Sentinel about an update on the $270,000 email scheme. So I went and got the Press Sentinel because I didn't get a copy of the information that was pushed out to the Press Sentinel. So I was reading it, and there was a couple things that absolutely jumped out on me. It says, page 1, Drawdy told the commissioners about the incident in a closed-door session and relayed the GBI request to not discuss the matter in public. So there would be less attention drawn to the matter and a higher likelihood that the funds could be retrieved. Commissioner Jamie Hickox later mentioned the fraud publicly during a county meeting as well as on her social media post, though she subsequently contended that her comments were based on a county email rather than remarks in a closed-door session. This is an email from November 15th from the county administrator to the county commissioners. Subject line, ACH fraud. The last paragraph states, Commissioners, as you can see, this is a very costly mistake and I apologize for it. We are going to continue to look at our procedures and ensure that this does not happen again. I will ask that this not be publicized at this point until the GBI starts their investigation and they give the okay for a public statement. I made a public statement in February after this information came out in November. I asked repeatedly for an update. At the end of the day, the $270,000 belongs to the people of Wayne County. That's all I got.
Commissioner Craig.
We as commissioners have a responsibility to look after the taxpayers' money. Not only when we're out here exposing all the items we have to spend money on, we don't have a choice, raises, equipment, spec, but when we go into executive session, that's the reason we go into executive session, because those items don't need to be divulged until either investigation is done, paperwork is finalized, or personnel issues are handled. And that's the reason that we have to withhold that information to make sure that it's given out at the proper time. We don't vote on anything back there, we don't do any of that, but a lot of times we're just given information so that we are advised of what's coming up. When I first got in the commission, we had several lawsuits that were pending, and we had to look through those lawsuits and find out the best way that they could be handled. And we did not disclose any of that information until the investigation or there was a agreement made with the ones that were suing us. And that's the reason that we have executive session. And as Commissioner Hickox was talking about, we don't divulge that information for protection of taxpayers' money. And that's a known fact. The Attorney General concurred with us that we were doing the right thing.
He did not.
And,
That is not what the Attorney General said.
well, read the paperwork. But that's the reason that we don't divulge this information. It's not that we're trying to hide anything from anybody, but y'all have to understand that there's a time and a place for information to be given out, and we will give it out when it's time, but not ahead of time to anything that could possibly hurt the taxpayers or cost the taxpayers money. That's all I have.
only thing I have is, I've done this in private, but I want to do in public. One of the commissioners, Commissioner Thomas, has lost a family member, a sister, a little over a week ago. And I know that's got to be a hard thing. I can imagine going through that, but I want to extend my condolences and prayers to the family.
Thank you so much.
And with that, I make a motion, we adjourn. I have a second.
Second.